In this video, I'm going to use Microsoft Visio to demonstrate how to diagram subtypes and supertype relationships for your conceptual data model. So what you see right here is a vehicle entity that could be used maybe by an automobile dealership to capture their inventory of both new and used vehicles, where the vehicle type is used to indicate whether it's a new or used vehicle. Now, regardless of which type of vehicle it is, we're going to capture the VIN, the make, the model, the year, the price the automobile dealership purchased the vehicle for, and then the price they're trying to sell the vehicle for. Now, if it's a new vehicle, we're going to want to capture the MSRP. And if it's a used vehicle, we're going to want to capture the book value of that vehicle, the used price for that vehicle, as well as the dealership where we purchased the vehicle from. Now, what you'll notice here is that some of these attributes are populated depending on which type of vehicle. What we need to do is we need to better illustrate that in our conceptual data model by breaking this entity into subtypes and supertypes, so we can then see those attributes that are populated depending on which type of entity instance we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create separate entities, one for the new type of vehicles and one for the used type of vehicles. And through the magic of the internet, that is going to be populated right now. So what you'll see here is that we have two subtypes created, the new subtype and the used subtype, and I've moved the MSRP from the vehicle entity into this new subtype entity, and the book value from the vehicle entity into the used subtype entity. Next, we want to move the dealer information to have that related to the used vehicle. However, we're going to be purchasing multiple vehicles over time from the same dealership. So rather than having all that information listed for each used vehicle that we purchased, we're going to create a separate entity just for the dealership, where we'll call this entity dealer, and then we'll include columns of dealer ID for the primary key. We'll use the dealer name, the address, city, state, and then the postal code. And then we'll go back to the main entity, it's going to be our super type, and we're going to remove those separate attributes now that we've moved them over to our dealer. All right, so what we're going to do next is to build our relationships. We're going to build a relationship between the subtype here, and the supertype, and then build a relationship between the used subtype and the dealership, or the dealer entity. So to do this, we're going to create a little space here. I'm going to move the vehicle entity up a little bit, move everything to the left a little bit to create some space so you can see the relationships. Now, between the subtype and the supertype, we're going to place this category. That's going to be placed right here. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to link the vehicle, the supertype, to the category, and that's going to be the parent to the category option. We're going to drag one end to the supertype and then drag the other to the category shape. And then we're going to go from the category shape to each subtype, and that's going to be the category to child relationship. And we're going to go from the category to the child. And now watch what happens when I drag the child end of this relationship. It's going to populate the supertype primary key into the subtype. And that we'll see that again when I do that for the used vehicle, from the category to the subtype. And there we go. Now we have our primary key existing in both our supertype as well as our subtypes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a relationship between the used subtype and the dealer entity. So we're going to have a used vehicle can belong to one dealer, and a dealer can provide us with many used vehicles. So the one end is going to go here, the many end is going to go here. And there we go. And now the dealer ID was brought across. Now if we want to make that dealer ID required, then we can simply go back to our column properties and make that a required attribute. And we want to have the dealer ID be required. There we go. All right. So here's our basic subtype supertype relationship, but there's more information that Visio will allow us to capture about this subtype supertype relationship. If I click on the category, there's this category is complete option. So what that's indicating is if these subtypes are a complete set of subtypes. In this case, are there vehicles that are something other than new or used? Now, if that's the case, then this is indicated correctly that there are other subtypes that we're just not capturing more information about. We don't have attributes related to other types of subtypes. But in this case, a vehicle is going to be only new or used, therefore there's no other types of vehicle. So we're going to click on this category is complete, and we'll see that a double line is created right here underneath that circle. Now that double line is going to indicate that this is a complete subtype. Those are all the possible subtypes for this supertype. Now next, what we're going to do is we're going to indicate if this is an overlapped or disjoint type of subtype supertype relationship. So can a vehicle be both new and used at the same time, or can a vehicle only be a new vehicle or a used vehicle? So to do this, we're going to go under Insert and create a text box. And this is something we have to do manually, is we just create a little text box, and in this case this is not overlapping, this is going to be a disjoint. So the vehicle can only be new or used. So I'm going to just simply type a D in my text box, click off to the side. Now I've got this D that I'm going to drag into the center of my category. So that's a little bit more of a manual way to work with Visio, but because Visio does not inherently support this disjoin or overlap subtype supertype indicator, so we have to do that manually. So what we have here is our completed subtype supertype diagram, where we have both the category complete or incomplete to indicate whether it's a complete subtype or incomplete subtype, and we also have a disjoint or overlap indicator. And we see here that only used vehicles will be related to a dealer. This is how we used Microsoft Visio to diagram our subtype supertype relationships in our conceptual data model.